This is your contest this morning. I'm very excited to be here. Please help me welcome our contest master, Mr. Gus Davies.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I want to welcome you to our Lake Mary Club 6440, the Fall Evaluation and Humorous Speech. Please silence all your noise-making devices, that means your cell phones. There will be no opportunity for photograph, except that we already know it's recorded, but we have a photo op at the end. Let me invite us all, please, to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence, please. Please be seated. Once our contest begins, the Sergeant at Arms will secure the doors. Members of the audience are asked to refrain from leaving or entering the room during the contest. After the contest, please remain seated until all our ballots have been collected and counted. We will begin the evaluation contest. The purpose of the evaluation contest is to encourage development of evaluation skills and to recognize the best as encouragement to all. Also to provide an opportunity to learn by observing the more proficient evaluators who have benefited from their Toastmasters training. The other of the contestants was drawn before the start of the meeting, and you will be informed. All contestants have been informed of the designated speaking area, and all are to speak from this same area. The contest chair and the chief judge have established the following areas for them to speak from. Contestants cannot be disqualified for going outside the speaking area, but judges may lower their marks to the contestant who goes beyond the designated speaking area. In the interest of time, our contest today will be conducted using the same procedures as Toastmaster International uses in conducting the International Speech Contest. Our chief judge, Diana Manakowski, has confirmed that all contestants are eligible and have been briefed. All contestants shall evaluate the same test speaker. Once the test speaker has delivered his 5 to 7 minute speech, all evaluation contestants will be escorted out of the room by our Sergeant of Arms and will be given 5 minutes to prepare their evaluation. After 5 minutes, the Sergeant of Arms will take all notes from the evaluation participants, which will be returned to the contestant prior to entering this room. Other than the contestants, no one will be allowed in or out of the room once the contest has begun, until the last speaker has spoken. Once a speaker has finished their presentation, they may remain in the room for the duration of the contest. The time of the evaluation is to be 2 to 3 minutes. Any contestant speaking less than 1 minute 30 seconds or more than 3 minutes 30 seconds will be disqualified. Now the timing lights, we use cards here, will be activated, and will you please demonstrate those. Green lights when you have 2 minutes. The yellow card 2.5 minutes, and the red card when it's 3 minutes. So please pay attention to that. And that what the red card will stay until the speaker has finished speaking. No notice will be given should the speaker go over their time. Timing starts with the first word uttered or when the speaker uses any form of communication from here. There will be 1 minute silence between speakers so the judges may complete their forms. Our Chief Judge, Diana, assures us that all judges have been briefed and are qualified to judge the contest. Protests may be entered only by the contestants or judges to either the Chief Judge or the contest chair. Once the results have been announced, all decisions are final. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we've been waiting for these fellow Toastmasters. Our test speaker today is the order
value.
the other evaluation. Thank you very much. The other evaluation, number 1 would be Stephen Morgan. Number 2, go ahead. Because of the 2 evaluators there. Thank you very much. Right. Number 1, Stephen Morgan. Number 2, go ahead, Frederick. Now let me introduce our test speaker today. Rich Massa, and the title of his speech, A Master Blueprint to Achieve Anything. A Master Blueprint to Achieve Anything. Rich Massa.
Thank you, Gus. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow members and guests, my name is Rich Massa, and the title of my speech today is My Master Blueprint to Achieve Anything in Any Area of Your Life. So, these are my secrets of success. So if you tell anybody after today, I'm going to have to kill you. So, one of my favorite quotes is, if we plan to fail, if we fail to plan, we plan to fail. That's a quote from one of our founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin. Today I'm going to review 3 simple points. What is a plan? How to plan it? And why do you want to achieve it? So, what is a goal? Well, Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines a goal as anything you want to achieve. Since I'm a fitness expert, I'm going to use examples in that area to help you better understand what a goal is. So, since I'm a fitness expert, the most common question I get asked, let's call her Mrs. Jones. Mrs. Jones comes to me. She goes, Rich, I want to lose 20 to 25 pounds. I say, Mrs. Jones, which one is it? Do we want to lose 20 or 25 pounds? So what type of goal do we want to achieve? Because that's going to affect our point number 2, which is our how. Right? So, if it's specific, we have to have a specific goal. So if you want to write this down, step 1 is to plan. We have to have a specific goal. Number 2, we have to set up, that's our long-term goal. What's our short-term goal? Because in my experience, the people who are unsuccessful in their goals, they focus solely on their long-term goal. Mrs. Jones will focus solely on 25 pounds. And this is going to be a very emotional journey for Mrs. Jones. So we have to make it a little bit shorter. And we're going to focus solely on our short-term goal. We're going to create a 30-day goal, which is 10 pounds. We're going to focus on short-term of 10 pounds. After that, we're going to set up a weekly schedule to make her successful and a daily routine of tracking her calories. So first, a specific goal, a long-term goal, and then a 30-day short-term goal. Then we're going to set up a plan. Now, why is a plan important? Now, in my experience, a lot of people don't like to set up a plan. Think of your plan as your vehicle. So before I get to what a vehicle is, think of your plan as if you go and I say, where are you going on vacation? And you go to the Bahamas. Well, how are you going to get there? I don't know. Well, what are you going to do? I have no idea. Well, that's the same thing with your goals in your life. You have to know where your destination is going to be and how you're going to get there. Let's say I want to drive to Miami Beach. I know that my 2005 Dodge Durango is my vehicle. My plan is to take I-4 to I-95 all the way down. That's my road, right? So,
you have to have a vehicle, you have to have a how. So what resources can you use to develop a plan of action? One way is there's an amazing invention called Google. You can literally type into Google, how can I lose 25 pounds? Another resource you can use is when you use that resource, Google, or you can buy books and fitness magazines, you can actually find 3 fitness experts, find consistent information, and do what the experts say. Number 3, you can find someone in your life, I'm sure everybody here has had somebody lose a bunch of weight and say, hey, how did you do that? And do exactly what they did. So if you find somebody successful in something that you want to achieve, and you do the same actions, you're going to find the same results. Now I wanted to save time for the most important thing. If I wanted to go to Miami, and I know my 2005 Dodge Durango is my vehicle, my why is going to be my fuel to get there. It's going to be my gasoline. Your why and anything that you want to do is the most important factor in any area of success. And in my experience, ladies and gentlemen, there's only 2 factors that develop a why. Is your extreme pain or extreme pleasure. If I go to Mrs. Jones and I go, Mrs. Jones, why do you want to lose this 25 pounds? How do you feel having this extra 25 pounds on you? She'll tell me, usually, that I don't feel attractive to my husband. She'll tell me that I don't feel confident. I can't play with my children. That's extreme pain. And I go, Mrs. Jones, I want you to close your eyes right now. I want you to picture yourself 25 pounds lighter. How will you feel at this weight? How can you envision your life? She'll go, I'll feel more attractive to my husband. I'll feel like I'm a better wife. I'll be able to play with my kids. I'll be able to fit into the clothes I wore in college. That's how I want to feel. People, without your why, the reason why we need a why is in the time we are in our plan, you're going to face obstacles. And your why is going to push you past those obstacles. If I'm going to Miami in my 2005 Dodge Durango and all of a sudden there's a traffic jam, unless I really want to hit the beach, I'm going to turn around and go home. You have to have a why in certain areas of your life. Now I know what you're wondering. What's my why? I have goals in every single area of my life. And you have to ask yourself, when you hit your feet in the morning, when your feet hits the floor, what's your why? Now, if you're here for my icebreaker speech, you're going to know that I've hit a lot of obstacles in my life. And I decided to use those obstacles to develop strength. That I decided that I want to be a man that my father, who died 2 years ago, that I'm going to be the type of man that he would be proud of. That when I meet my future wife, that she's going to be proud of me. That I want to be that type of guy that she wants to rip his clothes off when he comes out home after a workout. I want to be a hero to my future children. My why is people that I have to know that everything I went through in my life was for a reason. And I'm going to use that reason and that why to inspire people. I want to represent possibilities. So I'm going to ask you this question before I close. When you set a goal, what's your why? And how are you going to get there? Thank you.
At this time, I will ask the Sergeant at Arms to escort all the speech evaluation contestants out of the room. And we have 5 minutes to prepare the evaluation using the materials of their choice.
Talking about weight loss when you're with got a little hyped up there. At least I have one. Is living in the story here.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Ever.
How are you? I was in the two semesters.
That's not perfect.
You get extra feedback. And they're all on their A game too. Yeah.
I've only been here a month, so I'm here for the criticism.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. The more times we do it, portrait teachers and everything, better, because then you get strong evaluations, like over and over and over again.
Right. I know my feelings. I just want to know how to do it.
Why?
And how to develop my strengths.
The why. You hear what Rick said? It's the why.
Why let's go eat biscuits?
After he did this speech. Doesn't have the why.
May I have your attention, please? I have the chance. I do. I want to recognize at this time our area governor, John Zelensky. John, welcome.
I know most of you guys. I remember this is my first club back in 2009. So this is like my home club, if you will.
Welcome
I'm
home.
glad to be back and to see how you guys are all doing.
Yeah, how you doing?
Thank you for inviting me.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Our Sergeant at Arms for our club is going to talk about our 50-50 in about a minute or so that we have before the evaluators come. Alexander Balder, please tell us about our 50-50.
Oh, hi, good morning. And as you know, we are raising funds for our club, and this is also a great opportunity to bring 50-50 today, meaning we're collecting 50 and you taking home the other 50 about that. So it's very simple. It's going to be 1 ticket for $1, 3 tickets for $2, and 7 tickets for $5. How about that? How do you feel your luck today? You ready to buy some tickets? Let's do it. Let's do it. How many tickets? 7 for 5.
About 20 for 5. That's what Jones did.
Oh, that's
That's a good number, that's a good number.
No, don't listen to me.
I'm just trying to get a good bargain here. that's all.
It's $15. You get 20.
Is the winner?
Wow, I don't know, 7 for 5, so for 10 will be 14. I'm okay.
It's really funny here in the northern accent. When she said coffee, I was like, oh, here we go. There's a special,
That sounds so stressful.
It is like always.
That's
Alexander?
Yeah.
Alexander.
No, that's Boston.
That's Boston.
That's Boston.
Yes.
We know how to say three.
$5, that would be
Don't mess with the brother. Oh my God.
I ask our sergeant at arms, will you please bring in the evaluate the contestants?
So we can continue this in the next 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been 5 minutes.
Yes, so we are.
I'll lose a timer.
The sergeant at arms is on it. I believe she knows it. She's on it. That's my favorite girl.
At this time, for the evaluation of the test speech, I will introduce our first contestant, Stephen Morgan. Contestant number 1, Stephen Morgan. Stephen Morgan, contestant number 1.
Rich, thank you. You've given me a blueprint. Now I'm going to achieve everything I've got set for my life. Or at least for this particular evaluation. Since you gave us the blueprint with the what, the how, and the why, I shall try and follow that same pattern and see if that achieves the goals that I have set for you for this evaluation. Beginning, of course, with the what, which you were giving us that particular blueprint, your speech, which was relevant to all of us. And that's what was important about this, that you had a speech that all of us can take something from. I loved all the little tidbits you gave along. And I was a little bit concerned when you said you might have to kill me. I did like the plain pleasure dichotomy and the suggestion of how copy other people to get the same results, though I might suggest I've tried many and many times, I still can't give birth. But you also gave us the how, and your how for this speech, you were using rule of 3 everywhere. The triads were all over the place, including your 3 points as well as 3 sub-points throughout most of them, although you had 2 in the last one. That's fine. You had great body language. You were constantly bringing us in with your arms, and your eye contact was excellent. Superbly done. Suggestions that I can give, because we like to give a little bit of pain with the pleasure here. Your notes, you had them stapled, you had to pick them up, you had to flip them. That does get distracting. The best way to do it, take them stapled, leave them down, you just simply slide them over and we don't even know. That keeps them out of the way. I don't even think you needed them because your eye contact was up. Your vocal variety was good. And most of the time I'd be telling people, you can do more, you can do more. Actually, I want to tell you, do a little less. Okay. You have a type A personality. You're very strong, you come out loud, and you come out fast. That works for a lot of people, but not everyone. You're going to come across people who are a lot slower in the way they think, the way they process, whether they'll be auditory or kinesthetic. You'll want to be able to relate to them too. That'll take a little bit more work on your part. I understand that well. I noticed a lot of visual and kinesthetic language on your part. If you've done NLP, you know what I'm talking about. I'm auditory. I like to hear hearing language, and I didn't hear much. But your why. And the reason you were so strong is because of your why. Your passion. Oh, Lord. Your passion is all over the place, and it's carrying through, of course, with every speech that you give. You had energy that is waking all of us up. Nobody needed coffee. And given how early we started, that's a good thing. Wonderful presentation, great energy, and keep that up because passion will carry a speech if nothing else does. In conclusion, I love how you want to be making your father proud, making other people proud. But in the end, the one person you need to have most proud of you is yourself. And if you've been proud of what you've done, what I've said doesn't matter at all. But I hope you have taken something from it, and you are going to be back up here, I believe, quite shortly to do another speech. Mr. Contest Master.
Thank you.
Could we please have 1 minute of silence for the judges to fill out their ballot? Timer, 1 minute.
Ahmed.
Thank you. Please reset the timer there. Contestant number 2, Jorge F. Jorge F. contestant number 2.
Master of Ceremonies, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and especially this morning, Rich. Your speech today, the master blueprint to achieve success and all about planning. I can tell you that I am not one to plan. I actually wrote my notes on the back of my speaker profile, which I have to turn in, I'm sure, to somebody at some point here. So, not necessarily the most prepared person myself, or I don't plan ahead. So, a lot of tips that I could take from your speech on how to plan. I really like how you prepared it out and set the table. There were going to be the 3 objectives, and you laid out what the 3 objectives were going to be. You started out, I feel, very a lot of nervous energy. You have a lot of energy anyways, and that kept out throughout the speech, and it turned into the good energy once you were settled into the speech. I think at first it was a little fast pace, and you kind of jumped right into it. I was almost taken aback. We just dove right into there was no kind of ramp up there. So really, really fast into the speech. I would kind of make the introduction a little bit more subtle. Let us all prepare for the energy, for the roller coaster about to get taken on instead of just hitting the throttle straight to 90 miles an hour. I like the story, use Mrs. Jones a lot as a reference and use her as an example for a lot of these different topic points, a lot of the different goals. You related them to her. I wish that you would have maybe used, I think you used her more toward the end of it, and then you didn't do it maybe for the first couple goals, but if you segregated the speech out a little bit more, it was kind of confusing to know when one section was going to end, the other section was going on, and then maybe to take the first goal, then use Mrs. Jones as an example, and then really move it into a transition into the second point, have Mrs. Jones as an example, third point, Mrs. Jones, and then you really wrapped it up with why. I think there was some times where we were jumping back and forth between topics and objectives, so there was just a little bit, it got a little bit murky there in between, it was hard to follow, but the points in themselves were very well received. I believe in it. When I got a lot out of it, I liked the humor that you used. You're very good at weaving in the humor throughout the speech to keep us engaged and involved. Good eye contact, like I said, intensity. I thought at some point times you were going to jump over this lectern and land on this table, which is what you want when you're trying to motivate people to follow a plan. And not even motivate people to follow a plan. I think if you were especially there as a motivational force for somebody, you projected this professionalism over this topic area because you have that way of just engaging people and motivating them. Maybe because they might be scared to disappoint you or something, but mostly just because I think you have that motivational tone to you. So great speech, and I look forward to hearing many more.
Thank you very much. Timer, please. Let's have 1 minute of silence for the judges to fill out their ballots.
Time.
Contestant number 3, Erika Banfield. Erika Banfield, contestant number 3.
What a way to wake up this morning and hear such an amazing, inspirational speech by Rich. Rich, you started out by giving us an overview of what your speech was going to be about, and you particularly gave us 3 points on what you were going to cover. And I found that to be very interesting because it let us know that you were prepared, that you had thought about what you were going to talk about, you had practiced it, and that you were going to stay focused on what you were going to share with us today. I also enjoyed the fact that you gave an amazing presence throughout your speech. You made a lot of eye contact with all our fellow Toastmasters and guests. You also had your hands in a comfortable resting position, just as any professional would have done. You know, you came back to that resting position to not create any distractions. Some suggestions that I can make on the presentation and the speech that you gave was, because you have so much energy, you grab the podium and you lean forward. And I immediately wanted to do push-ups. Because it was, to me, it came across as an intimidation sort of move. So I would watch when you're grabbing that podium, even though you're making sure that those points are coming across. I also want to point out the fact that you, throughout the contest, you used a certain pitch, or throughout the speech you used a certain pitch, and it really captivated our attention. However, when you were using some of those examples, I think that maybe just taking a deeper breath and a step back and maybe lowering that pitch more to help us envision that example that you gave us, although those examples were fantastic. At the end of the speech, you ended abruptly, so I'm not sure if it was a timing issue, but another suggestion would have been to have recapped those 3 steps in your last paragraph. However, the best part of your speech was your energy. I've heard a lot of motivational speakers in the past and book signings, and that energy that you exude in the room is fantastic. I look forward to your next speech, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you.
Timer, let's have a minute on the clock, please, while the judges complete their ballots.
One minute.
Thank you. I would like to have the ballot counters to collect the ballots, please. And the timers to give us a retiming report. Do you have a report for us?
We just turn this to him, right?
Chief Judge. Chief Judge. You turn it in to Chief Judge.
Oh, yeah.
The Chief Judge. Wait. Okay. Thank you, everyone. This almost concludes the evaluation speech contest. We will announce the results later in the meeting. But for now, may I please actually give a round of applause for all of us. We are going to have a 5-minute intermission. And we have a couple of things we'll do. We have get some announcements from our area governor who is with us. And I know Alexander Baldwin will still want to continue with his tickets. So, John, welcome. Could you please give us some announcements? Come
Yes, Area 7 contest. I'm still looking for volunteers for Saturday, September 20th at 2 p.m. at the Cork and Olive up here in Lake Mary. So I need chief judge, I need some other judges and some other, right, Craig? We got our own, my home club now, Voices of Opportunity, have some of those folks. But you guys, it sounds like maybe you might want to be a chief judge possibly. I can't really announce it, but anybody want to help? I'm open for volunteers. Please let me know. Okay. So Saturday, September 20th at 2 p.m. I don't think we're going to give wine out, but there is wine there, right? So please, yeah, welcome to support people from this club that are going to participate. They do appreciate your support. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I encourage you to look into that on Saturday. Some of us were at a meeting with John and some of his club members. Alexander?
Yes.
You have a minute and a half.
A minute and a half.
Yeah,
Okay,
good time.
tickets. $1, one ticket. If I can find my purse, I'll buy one.
Yes. Stephen made it. Yes, thank you.
You're not getting much at all. Who's these?
Oh, that was your.
Yeah, that was actually
She'll be back.
557.
toward
I was gonna say,
Oh, really?
red hair, I'm sure you heard that before.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
that color is exactly.
See if you can get it and find together.
Oh, really?
And I
The top
remember
is
everything.
DCBG, this fall collection, and then the jacket is Express last spring.
Well done.
This is not a
You should be
tip.
a designer.
That's not a tip. You see, it has no number. So you need the other piece to that. Okay, that's yours?
Yeah.
This has no number. That's not a tip.
I'm a shelf say value.
See?
Yeah. We offer size
No, you're right, I'm sorry,
guarantee.
you're right, I'm sorry, that does fit on there.
Yeah, you want
I'm just
that?
you're good. You're good.
You good?
Coming up the woods. Just
How are you, Stephen? Yes. Thank you for sending that email last night. Did anybody respond and say thank you for a reminder or anything?
No. I'll have a few things I do. I have something to present at the end.
You were that.
I'll have something to present at the end to you, so make sure you
We have a 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute.
warning.
Okay, thank you.
So you don't hear about Jorge, you guys have scheduled all the other stuff. Thank you. Sign up, or if you want to sign up on there. I will give you the next 2 weeks. Oh, please note that then. If you haven't already on Easy Speak.
Okay.
Do you have that big roll?
I like our
That's a lot of pictures. You bought it or you have it?
I don't remember why we had it. Probably had it for another club at some point.
Next week.
Hi.
5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Passing that down with the pen.
We will now begin the humorous. purpose of this contest, the humorous speech contest, is defined by Toastmasters as 1, to provide an opportunity for speakers to improve their speaking abilities and to recognize the best as encouragement to all. 2, to provide an opportunity to learn by observing the more proficient speakers who have benefited from their Toastmasters training. And 3rd, to recognize the value of humor in speaking. The other of the contestants were drawn before the start of today's meeting and is as follows. Number 1 would be Rich Massa. Number 2, Jorge F. And number 3, Stephen Morgan. Once again, our Chief Judge, Diana, has confirmed that all contestants are eligible and have been briefed. All speeches are to be original and quoted materials so identified. Speakers may stay in the room. The time of the humorous speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Any speaker speaking less than 4 minutes 30 seconds or more than 7 minutes 30 seconds will be disqualified. Again, the timing cards will be activated as follows. Green light when you've gone 5 minutes, yellow light 6 minutes, red 7 minutes. And we stay until the speaker has finished speaking. No notice will be given should a speaker go over their time. Timing starts with the first word uttered or when the speaker uses any form of communication to the audience. There will be a 1 minute of silence between speakers so the judges may complete their forms. Again, all judges have been briefed. Protests may be entered only by the contestants or judges to either the chief judge or the contest chair. Once the results have been announced, all decisions are final. And now I will introduce contestant number 1, Rich Massa. Eyes wide shut. Eyes wide shut. Contestant number 1, Rich Massa.
You know, it's been a while since my last speech. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow members and guests, today the title of my speech, I'm going to do project number 5, which is body language, and the title is Eyes Wide Shut. The reason why I chose that is I'm going to tell you about one of my favorite cousins, is my blind cousin Damon in New Jersey. Now, I don't want you to feel bad because he's handicapped. My cousin Damon, we grew up in New Jersey, and my cousin Damon, he is literally one of the most talented, smartest men I've ever met. He stands about 5'9". He's been blind since birth, but he knows computers left and right. He's in a band, he plays the keyboard professionally and can sing. He's the most amazing, talented person we've ever met. When we were kids, I used to read comic books to him. And he used to look up to the Incredible Hulk, and I think it's because he really identified the strength of that superhero. Now, please do not judge me for what I'm about to tell you, but I used to play pranks on my cousin. It was too deliciously awesome that he was blind. So one prank I played on him was I maybe switched his mild wings with my hot wings when he embarrassed me in front of a girl. And then I don't know how it was so hot that he took a bite and looked at me. I thought it was too hot that maybe he regained his sight. And then perhaps I found out the day I tricked him to go on a roller coaster that blind people really can't anticipate when the roller coaster's going up and down, and they can get dizzy just like we can. So to tell you a story, I want to tell you that once upon a time, I want you to sit back, buckle your seatbelts for the greatest story you will ever hear. My aunt, when I was 17 years old, she graduated from college and she was going to have a graduation party. Now I want you to picture a younger Rich Massa, 17 years old. I had a 1978 Grand Prix, and I loved that car. I used to drive in that car. I was all proud. It had a sunroof. And I lived in Bayonne, and they lived in Woodbridge. It was about a 20-minute drive. So me and my cousin got in my car, and I noticed I had an eighth of a tank of gas. I said, hey, do you think we have enough gas? And I'm asking a blind guy if I have enough gas to get to Woodbridge. So he said, yeah, let's try it. I'm like, all right, so we're going on the New Jersey Turnpike, and I see the exit, and all of a sudden my car, literally a quarter mile away, is boop, 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 and we run out of gas. So I tell him we ran out of gas, and he goes, so I'm going to shut my eyes. But what do you think we should do? I said, well, I'm going to go hitchhike. Again, 17 years old in New Jersey, I'm going to go hitchhike to get gas. So I hitchhike, and these people pull over, and I say, hey, I need to get some gas. The gas station is a quarter mile, maybe a mile away. Can you drop me off? He goes, yeah. So I get into the car at 17 years old, and they drive past the exit, over this bridge. I'm like, great, now I'm going to get kidnapped and raped. So I tell the guys, get a little, guys, just drop me off. Just drop me off here. So luckily, they dropped me off, and they went over this big bridge. Now I want you to picture a 1 mile bridge. And on the way down is the Hudson River. So I said, well, it looks like I'm going to run across this bridge. Meanwhile, my cousin is in the Grand Prix. So I unbutton my shirt like the Guido I was when I was 17, and I start running across this bridge. 30 seconds into running across this bridge, a cop, woo, get in the car. I try to get into the front seat of the car. He goes, get the hell in the back seat. So I thought I was getting arrested. He goes, what are you thinking? It's illegal to run over a bridge. I go, I just thought I was going to run over a bridge. I have to get back to my blind cousin who's in the car. He drives me back. Meanwhile, back in the car, now I want you to pay attention here. A cop car then proceeds to pull up behind him. He goes to the car, rolls down the window, he goes, what are you doing? And he goes, we ran out of gas, my cousin's getting gas. And he goes, well, we're going to have to move this car. He goes, well, how do you expect me to do that? Well, I'm going to get, can you move the car? He goes, well, I'm blind. I'm blind. How blind are you? Can you see the hood ornament? Can you see the hood ornament? There's a hood ornament? So the cop made my cousin get into the car, into the driver's seat. Now he's driving, and he's announcing, he pushes the car, announcing to turn left and right. He goes, okay, hit the brake. He's asking a blind man who's never driven to hit the brake. He hits the gas. And hits a pole. He thinks that my cousin is going to kill me for wrecking his car. To make a long story short, we both get back to the house. Now we have an Italian family. As you can tell, we're very loud. My mother comes in, screams bloody murder. I'm getting a lot of this. My uncle comes in. Now we were scared of my uncle at the time. He was only about 5'10", and he proceeds to ground me. And I'm thinking to myself, does he have the authority to ground me? And I found out that he did. Then, when everyone's yelling at us, they were scared that we died in a car wreck or something like that. And the person we were scared of the most is my Hungarian grandmother, who said all of but 4'8", and she will throw you across the room. And she comes up to me and my blind cousin, and she goes, you want me to order you a pizza? And that's when somehow me and my cousin, my blind cousin, we looked at each other, and we started laughing. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the greatest story of all time.
1 minute of silence, please, on the clock as we have the Evaluator.
told her not to come in if someone's at the podium.
1 minute.
Contestant
Number 2, Jorge F. Title for humorous speech: Why I Love Not Being an Animal Lover.
Well, as you can see by the title of my speech, I'm probably going to make some people angry. So just a disclaimer that this is my personal view, and in no way is a reflection on you if you are an animal lover. But like most people, I wake up every morning. I have a morning routine. I get up in the morning and I get ready to go to the gym, and sometimes I actually go to the gym. Sometimes I will actually go back to bed. But most instances, times I'll actually go to the gym. I come back, I read the paper, I take a shower, and I get ready for bed. There's all the whole process that goes on in the morning. One of my most relaxing times of the day. And when I leave my house to finally go to work, I drive to work, and inevitably I see multiple people in my neighborhood walking their dogs, specifically, around the neighborhood. And I just think to myself that these people are out of their mind. Not only because it's summertime and it's 100 degrees outside, and I see them holding a little bag of feces, which I know has to be steaming in their hands, because I'm steaming just in the 20 feet that it took me to get from my door to my car of my house. So I know that that cannot be comfortable for them, but if you ask them, it won't bother them at all. They'll love every second of it. It's their animals. How can I say that they're not enjoying themselves, and I see this animal rolling around in the morning dew there in the grass, just disgusting, getting that smell of outside just in their fibers and their hairs. You know the smell of outside, the smell of fresh cut grass, it's repulsive. Just being embedded deep in these animals' fibers, and now you have to take that dog inside. And now you can't just leave and go outside. Now you have to take care of this moist, disgusting, smelly animal. You have to at least wipe it down a little bit before you leave to go to work. You have to at least, your house is going to smell. There's no way around that now. Now you have to, it's this whole thing. So if you do have to go to work, this is now another issue you have to deal with every single morning. So I leave to work happy that I don't have to worry about any of that. I don't have to worry about making sure that certain doors are closed because the animal is going to come in and wreck a pair of shoes or knock something down or get into something that he's not supposed to, and more likely whatever he's going to break or get into is probably more expensive than it was for me to actually get the pet in the first place, considering that most cats are free. And dogs are pretty free also. Maybe you spend a few $100s, but you can spend, I think, a lot of money on some animals. I know there's these purebred type animals, which I'm told is pretty much just like an inbred. So I know what inbreeding does to humans. So I don't know what you paid so much money for. I think the only thing special about your animal right now is that it's not drooling all over itself and that its legs are all the same size and it doesn't have any other issues going on. But the fact that you spent a lot of money on it, you're good. I guess if it makes you happy, that's good for you. The startup cost definitely, when you deal with most animals, because they're so low, it doesn't give you a good idea of the full cost of ownership over the lifetime of a pet, I think, because the startup costs are so low, free to relatively a few $100s. It doesn't give people don't put enough thought into the fact of what is going to go into raising this animal, because the financial obligation at the start is not there to dissuade them from entering into such a horrible decision. And maybe it's just because in my line of work I'm very analytical and critical, and I'm sure I can do some net present value calculations and some cost benefit analysis, and I'm pretty confident that my analysis will end that it is a horrible, bad investment to invest in an animal. But a lot of people say that it's the thing that you can't put a value on, it's the implied value, it's the joy that they give you and the memories that they provide to you, and you can't put a price on that. And I can put a price on it. And it's too high for me to want to enter into that kind of obligation. I have t-shirts that outlast a lot of these animals, and they all bring back memories to me when I see them. They of some event, and I can relive those memories just as easily as anything else, or I can look through pictures. And those are great memories too, and those now don't cost anything. They're just on my cell phone. They're fantastic. The cost of the freedom I think that you're giving up is very, very heavy of a cost, a very heavy cost. I, for instance, am going out of town this weekend for Labor Day weekend, as I'm sure many people are, and that's one big less thing I have to do on my checklist for preparing is who's gonna take care of this dog. I know my mom's not gonna take care of the dog because you think I don't like animals. I'm not even going to ask her what she thinks about taking care of my dog. Which is funny because we actually did have a dog when I was growing up. It lasted about a year, and we went on vacation. We dropped it off at my grandparents' house and never picked it back up. And that's where it stayed for the rest of its life. So as we enter into the fall season here, especially I actually went to the grocery store the other day and I saw Halloween candy already. So I know right around the corner from that is Christmas card season. So I know pretty soon I'll be getting in the Christmas cards and I'll be seeing everybody with the pictures of their family, including their pets, which is nuts. Including their pets. And I can sit in my house, relax, look at these pictures, feel pity for the fact of this family with their pet, and then look around my house and be impeccably clean, not outside smelling, no pet dander anywhere, organized house, and it makes me feel happy. Pastor Toastman.
Timer, 1 minute of silence, please, as they complete the balance. Contestant number 3, Stephen Morgan. The Idiot's Guide to How to Lose a Humorous Speech Contest for Dummies. The Idiot's Guide to How to Lose a Humorous Speech Contest for Dummies. Stephen Morgan.
Have you been tricked, coerced, or guilted into the humorous speech contest? Is it too late to back out? Do you want to try to win without actually winning? Well then, Mr. Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, the answers you seek are here in the 3rd edition of my program, The Idiot's Guide to How to Lose a Humorous Speech Contest for Dummies. In this program, I will give you 3 strategies that you can use, developed from my own many years of experiences, of observations, and of course, 24 losses. With these techniques, you too will be able to craft a speech to showcase your skill, your elegance, and your brilliance, while letting someone else take home the gold. Disclaimer: you would not be here if you intended to simply disqualify yourself. However, nothing can protect you from the idiocy of your competitors. If they disqualify, you will win. You've been warned. So begin with strategy number 1. Be unfunny. For many of you, this is not a problem. For a few of you, you might need a little bit of work to get there. The easiest thing to do is to simply choose an unfunny speech. Give an informative speech, trying to throw in a few little jokes along the way. Perhaps bad jokes. Perhaps tell the jokes poorly. Laugh at your jokes before you get to them. Mess up the punchline. Anything that will work, that just takes everyone going, huh? Instead of laughing. In fact, they came here for a bit of pleasure from the fun. So give them pain instead. By being unfunny, you'll discover that the judges will find everyone else to be better than you, even if they're not that great either. And you too can lose with just that simple technique. But the second skill is to be unappealing. There are many ways to be unappealing. It could be how you dress, it could be how you talk, it could be how you speak, it could be the topic of your speech. It could be the words you choose in your speech. You could talk to everyone about how disgusting the feces smell like and how they ooze and you get bonus points if you can get people to gag. Even better if you can do it while they're eating. But if you make it unappealing, then they're certainly not going to find it particularly funny. At the same time, you could try being offensive. You could be misogynistic because women just talk and never listen. Or you could be misandrous because all the men want to do is fix things, won't care about anything else. Alexandra can give you lots of pointers on these things. You can be condescending. By the way, you know what condescending means, right? If that doesn't work, just be confusing. Use words like misogynistic, misandrous, confusing, condescending, and infantile. You can be infantile, which means you could be vulgar. It means you could use toilet humor. But I'll give you fair warning. The first two editions of this program both fell behind the toilet humor speeches. I am not funnier than shit. The third strategy. If you have been unfunny, now you've been unappealing. Oh yes. Notes. Be unlucky. Notes are a good way to be sloppy. But to be unlucky. Now this implies, of course, that there are things you can't keep control of. Some of those things you can manipulate. One of the great ways to kill a humorous speech is to have a dead audience. The best way to get a dead audience, have a dead contest master. When it comes time to choose the contest master, hint at that person who you already know is just dead up front. Come the actual contest, give them little hints that, I think we're running short on time, we should hurry things along. Therefore they skip over warming up the audience. Their stress translates to the audience is stressed, they're not going to laugh. It's unlucky, but you can affect it. Another technique about being unlucky is you can copy another competitor's speech. As my blind cousin could tell you. Unfortunately, you don't want to feel too sorry for him, except that he happens to have me for cousin, right? I happened to be the benefit of this in a contest at one point where my other two competitors used the same name for the same young girl in their speeches, and it was an unusual name. The end result, the judges end up penalizing both of them. Great for me in that contest. Which means if you're going to use this technique, choose someone to sabotage. Who is it that you would love to most see fall on their face along with you? Therefore, you leave the others to take the crown instead. This is a great way to get even for some of those evaluations that you've been getting along the way. But the technique that, of course, ends up, hands down, taking it all the glory with it. Clearly unlucky, but has taken down every good speech, unfortunately, I've had in humorous speech contest. Best technique, draw first speaker. Now you have been given your three strategies. Quiz time. We got to make sure everyone has got this straight. What was the first skill? It was being unfunny. The second skill was to be unappealing. And the third skill was to be unlucky. Now that you have these skills, you can take them forward, and with the techniques that you've been given, you too can craft that speech that let you showcase your skill, present your unblemished elegance, and of course, prove to everyone that you are clearly far more brilliant than me. Mr. Contest Master.
Timers, please, 2 minutes on the clock, so the judges will complete their ballots.
Is your time done? Okay, we're going to collect the ballots.
I'm sorry, you can't get it upside down?
Uh-oh. she's the Hungarian grandmother of our group.
I have a little Hungarian grandma just a ballot. So
You were scared of her, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I scared of it's my dad and his sibling watch this for.
Say you want these, so.
If you would.
2 minutes.
Thank you. We'll have the ballot counters collect the ballots and timers reports at this time for the chief judge. This concludes the humorous speech contest. We will announce the results later in this meeting. But could you please join me in giving them a big round of applause? We have a minute or so for a brief table topic. Table topic is the time that we call on Toastmasters to give a speech. If not prepared, you should be able to listen to the question, because you don't know when they will call on you, and you have to answer the question. And so we have 2 questions at this time, and that is to think about the most funny thing that happened to you. And maybe you'll have a relative who is below 5 feet, you know, but she's not Italian, she's below 5 feet. And that person was so funny, said something so funny to you that you've always, always remembered that. Susanna Lecter.
Gee, thanks a lot, Contest Master. When you talk about a relative who's very short, it immediately brings up my mother, who is short, little, round woman, happiest person in the world. And my sister and I do that whole, "Mom, where are you?" joke when she's standing in front of us, right over her head. Probably, to me, the funniest thing that she ever said, you need a little background story here. She is a very strict Baptist. So, very strong beliefs, very conservative, and I realized I had not brought home anybody who I'd dated in a while. When my mom sat me down and said, you know, If you're a lesbian, we still love you. Thank you so much, Mom. Not. But I will bring home for Christmas a guy to prove it next time. And I appreciate your openness. That still makes me laugh, my little Baptist mom.
I believe there was a time that something happened to you. It was so funny that everybody around you was laughing. But as far as you were concerned, it was an embarrassment. Everybody was laughing, but you were just embarrassed it happened. Toastmaster Craig.
Thank you for embarrassing me. What happens when I come to visit another club? I seriously can't think of anything because I just don't come from a real funny background. My family is very serious. I've kind of gotten that. I can't think of anything that's really happened to me in life that I want to share.
There you go.
Exactly. That I was funny where everybody laughed and I was just mortified by it. I'm sure there was plenty of stuff in high school, because high school, of course, is just traumatic for all of us. But I probably repressed those memories and just pushed them down and tried to move past them. So I don't think that there's anything there that I can think of that I might want to share. I know I'm not answering your question, but seriously, I can't come up with anything, so I'm just filling time. So I'll turn it back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Before our program and when our president comes up here, we acknowledge all the other guests we have, and we have a minute. Now, I want to take this time to invite our functionaries that are present, and they've given us some service today. They filled in a couple of roles, so I will ask our Sergeant at Arms, please come up. Our timer, we had our Sergeant of Arms, and we had our timer. We want to just recognize what you have done. Susan, we thank you so much for coming to serve us today from your club. Thank you. Go ahead. Thank you so much for serving us today. We appreciate you the role you play. Thank you. Carrie Bird, please come see the certificate. I would like to congratulate all of the contestants for stepping out of their comfort zone. I know in planning this, some people really have to get out of their comfort zone and compete today. Let me call up all the contestants right now to come up here. Rich, Massa. And now we invite our Rich. Thank you very much, Rich. I'm hilarious. Right. We have the contestants. Is our Chief Judge in the room? Yes, she's back there. I'll invite our area governor with us. John, please come forward to stand with us so that we'll be able to give. Yeah. You're asking for volunteers.
They never told me about this. No? Stephanie should have warned me.
That's what happened. Nobody warned me.
I didn't get warned either. There's a lot they don't tell you.
Right, yeah.
Once I announce the winners.
Right. Now, we want to announce the results from those who were the evaluation. And the judges have done a great job, and the chief judge and the contest chair have turned in the results for the evaluation. And we're going to call them up here. Will you please come up? We will have Erika come up, Stephen, and Jorge, please come up. Well, thank you so much. Now, tell us, when, apart from, playing whatever you told us about, what other animal would you like to have at your house?
What animal would I like to have at my house? Well, if I could have any animal in my house, it would be a fish. But I know that would be a lot of work, but I think it would be really cool to have a penguin. Just because I like
You don't like smelly things and you want a penguin?
Just because I like to keep my house really cold, and I think it'd be fun to watch them waddle around. So it'd be an excuse for me to keep my house excessively cold. So that'd be the animal I'd have.
Thank you.
But I wouldn't want any.
You want
I'm a 6-year-old twin.
Stephen Morgan, when was the last time you really said something without smiling?
Ask my wife. I'm not.
Susan, when was that?
Let's see. Probably this morning when he said, "Wake up, it's time to go."
Well, thank you. Erika, do you have an alarm clock that you set? No, clock Erika. Do you have an alarm clock?
Do I have an alarm clock? That's a very appropriate question. I have an alarm clock throughout the day for everything I do. I have to know when to stop talking because every minute of my day is pre-planned. And for example, today my last scheduled appointment is at 7:30 at my salsa class. So therefore, every day there's an alarm clock. Although my body naturally wakes me up 2 minutes before, and it's always 2 minutes. I can never figure out why. But if I set the alarm for 5:50, I wake up at 5:48.
Thank you. Good question. Well, thank you. Let's give them another round of applause. And now we have John to give the results.
All right, drum roll, please. In third place, George, right? George?
Yeah. All right.
Congratulations. All right, drum roll again. Second place, Stephen Morgan. Congratulations. First place, one more, well, I guess you know who that would be, right? Erika Benfield. Oh, trophies, okay, there we
Trophies
go.
for first place. Yeah, go ahead. Second place.
Second place, just gotta read this first here. Second place is Stephen Morgan. First place is congratulations.
Thank you very much. May I have from the judge the humorous speech, please? All right. So may I invite up here Rich Master, come up, Jorge F and Stephen Morgan again.
So for the humorous speech contest, third place. Do we have a third place?
We are second place.
Second place.
Yes.
We just do
Yes.
certificate, right? Second place, sorry, George. Second place winner. And drum roll, this time for sure. First place, Richard. speech, but wait for the contest. Stephen Morgan, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Right. Now, I think, did you get some pictures? Oh, Stephen, you're recording it, right?
We'll take some pictures at the end because
Alright.
the shadows for Facebook
Right.
is too dark.
Before this is, you think they're not gonna see me? Is that what you're saying? Do I have a problem?
Oh,
Right.
you're so bad.
For our 50-50, do we have any report on that before we conclude this time?
Yes.
All right.
Mr. Contest Master, this is closing. Right now, we have collected $46.
Whoa.
That's all.
Okay.
$2. You want $5 or $2? $2. Can we yes.
All right, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Get your eyes on your numbers.
Okay, $24 to split, and let's pick someone. I guess right here. Could you please pick a winner?
That's mine, put it back, put it back.
That's okay. They're back. Okay.
Okay, ready?
Okay, ready?
Okay, the number is 2300266.
Damn!
Awesome.
Trust and verify.
Good deal. Show the,
Feel free to check.
yeah, give him the number.
Good job. Trust and verify.
It's on fire.
So,
Go round.
change by.
Yes, get your change back.
Is
Not
that
gonna say
going
a lot of times.
2 and 4 and 24. Thank you.
Put that back.
Thank you.
The goal of our 50-50 is that she's gonna have a big breakfast this morning, and the rest of the funds will go towards our club and other expenses. Do we have any other certificate presentation?
Yes.
Please come forward.
Well, I cannot hand this one to you. I wanna everybody to please help me clap and these amazing people who were so helpful, Diane and Gus, and this is, I don't know yours, but this is my first one, my first contest. Is that yours first?
Yeah.
How about you, Gus?
Second.
Yours is second. So I want for you to guys please help me to clap for these amazing people. Thank you, Diane, for serving on your role as a chief judge. Thank you, Gus, for serving your role as a contest master. And I'm going to give one more to Rich Massa for serving on his role as a test speaker. Thank you.
And I want to take this opportunity to thank Alexandra and our club leaders who really had great coaches and mentors when we were invited into office. And immediately we were invited into office July, and we had to do this function. So we want to thank, I personally want to thank Stephanie and Stephen Morgan, and even Susan joining us for coaching and mentoring us through this. So at this time, I want to present this certificate to Alexander Balder. Please stand. At this time, and thanking each one of you, I want to turn over the rest of the meeting to the president of our club, Erika B.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
What a fantastic morning we had, right? I had tissues. I cried so much throughout this meeting. It was fantastic. I have a schedule that's floating around if it can make its way to me. In the meantime, let's make it brief and let's start by having our guests stand up in order from the left and tell us what you thought of the meeting.
Good morning, my name is Jerry Casio. This is my second meeting, and I thought it was very enlightening, and it was very invigorating. Thank you. Rich, it woke me right up. I had no coffee. I got here just in time today, so that will put me right in there. But I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We hope and something I do want to point out in formalities, the way that I was taught is you are supposed to acknowledge an order of position for those that are within a group. For example, if you're in a meeting of city officials, you start with if it's the mayor or the congressman first. And I don't know all your faces yet, so if I miss that step, I want to use this opportunity to teach everyone that there is a formality of how you're supposed to introduce guests. So with that, our next guest.
That was nice. Morning, my name's Nicole. This is my very first Toastmaster meeting, and I really thoroughly enjoyed myself. It was very engaging and funny and great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Did both of you fill out our guest ledger by chance?
I did.
You did? You did?
When I was in
Okay, perfect. Susan.
I'm Susan Morgan. I'm Stephen's wife and also a Toastmaster. And I enjoy coming here all the time, even if I have to wake up early. So I had a lot of fun, guys.
Thank you.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. My name is Craig. I'm a member of Voices of Opportunity, and we meet just down the road a little bit. And I wanted to come and just see your contest this morning. I visited a couple other clubs and seen their contest too. It was really fun. You had some great speakers, great humor. I enjoyed it. And from the looks of it, you got a great club, so I've enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jorge F. I'm a member of the Central Florida Facilitators. This is, I think, second time I've been in this club. I enjoy the contest. We have a good competition. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Michael Byrne. I'm Stephanie's husband. I'm from Apopka Foley's Toastmasters, and as always, it's a great to be here at Lake Mary. Thank you.
My name is Ben Adams. This is my first Toastmasters ever, and it was definitely a great way to start the day off, and very energetic in a very positive manner. So I appreciate everybody, and the speeches were awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay. And anyone else in the back? One more time.
John? Area Governor.
Area Governor.
Well, area governor, yes, governess maybe. Sorry? Okay, go ahead. So the winners today go on to the Area 70 contest, which again, September 20th, a Saturday, not a Sunday. And again, you might get a bottle of wine afterwards. It's hard to say. Depends on our budget, which Stephanie, can I get my budget up a little bit more?
I suggest you buy a bottle at Corcanala because they let us use the room without charging. So it would be nice to support them by, buying a bottle for them.
Yes, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Did you drink it there? Great contest, I loved it. I'll have to go back to it again. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. He's in my Rotary Club and just a wonderful person. I know that Diane wants to say a few words and Stephen, so I'm going to make this really quick because business first. We have our September 2nd meeting. Toastmaster Stephanie.
If I have a car, I'll come.
Okay, speaker Martin Bell. He's not here, but he is checked off. I'm a speaker. Alexandra's a speaker.
Yes. No.
No. Okay. Table Topics Master is James Bishop. Does somebody want to do a backup for that?
Get through the other rules first.
Okay. General Evaluator, I also need a roll for that. Evaluator 1, Stephen Morgan. Carrie Bird, Evaluator 2. All Counter, Rich Massa. From Marion, Paul Walsh. Paul Timer, Gus Davies. So you, Diane, you said you would do the General Evaluator?
I signed up last week. I can't remember if it was General Evaluator. I think General
I'll
Evaluator.
put you down for General Evaluator.
And then Marion and then something else.
Okay, so we just need to confirm our Toastmaster. I'm sure you can send an email through Easy Speak if something does come up. And with that, let's have Diane give a few short words. Few short
I am your treasurer. I'm going to be very short. Stop, Michael.
I got time.
It is time for the dues, and we're trying to win a contest, and so I need everybody's checks, please. $98 to renew. We need to get this ribbon, this place. So please, if you have a checkbook today, write me a check for $98 for October through March 31st. And if not, please bring it to this next meeting because I have to put everything in the first week of September. Anybody who wants to join that's new, please see Gus, and I will take your check from after he gets you signed up, okay?
Thank you.
We started, we're gonna be doing the raffle also for extra money every week, so bring a little bit of extra change, okay?
Thank you so much, Diane, for keeping us in check. And Stephen, I'm gonna turn it over to you. I'll sit here. Yep.
Nope, you stay up here.
Oh, stay up here, okay.
I'm Big P Education, but I'm also the immediate past president, and therefore I was the one who received the ribbon that our club now gets for last year's distinguished presidents. Add up to the rest.
Yes, this is the bar that's been presented to me that we have to keep. Oh my goodness, this is awesome. No pressure, but this is actually a piece of everybody here. All our guests and everyone else because we have to do it all over again. So congratulations to everyone. And with that, any other comments? No, we're adjourned. Have a great week.